Yep. Hi. How are you? This will be fun. Have you done this before? Really? So rude. I know we have to get you your nameplate for planning commission meetings and stuff. Right. Right. I used to like to sit in the back, but now I can't do that anymore. That was our table back there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for council and other stuff. These are unfamiliar faces, Rich. These are probably all the people you know. Right, Rich? Right? Me? Do you have any questions? Nick was actually kind of surprised after our first meeting. You were kind of surprised after. Who is that? You guys ready? Good to go? Thanks, Rachel. Good afternoon. This is the medical marijuana, City of East Point Medical Marijuana Facility Application Committee meeting. We haven't seen you guys in a while. I see some unfamiliar faces. It's Wednesday, 17th at 2 o'clock, East Point City Hall. As a way of introductions, I'm Kim Homan. I'm the Assistant City Manager. Nick Sage is the Deputy Fire Chief. Randall Blum is the Finance Director. Richard Albright, our Attorney. We have two other people here today, and Raphael Kazin is a Senior Planner and one of our zoning administrators and planning partners. We wanted to start with a roll call. Mr. Blum?
Present.
Mr. Sage?
Present.
And I'm here. You guys don't have, it's okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, Mr. Sage?
Yes.
Mr. Blum?
Aye.
And I say yes. Okay, new business. We wanted to start with Mr. Albright to give an update on the legal status. There were some cases that had gone to appeal and/or the hearing officer, we have one change, so Mr. Albright, if you would update everybody.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, there is several cases that are on appeal. There was a decision by the Macomb County Circuit Court last week for Firebuds LLC. Is there a representative from Firebuds? Okay, thank you. I know I spoke with counsel yesterday, and he had indicated someone was going to be here for the applicant. The Macomb County Circuit Court reversed the decision of the committee, where the committee found that the application was incomplete. The Circuit Court deemed the application complete, so they were sent notice of today's proceedings and then will be considered for further matters, including the scoring of the application.
Thank you very much. An update from our police department. We had hoped that we could get an authorization, sort of a general authorization for background release check from one of the stakeholders that would apply to the rest of the stakeholders. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. So I do have a list of the applicants that we're going to need to get some extra release forms. And I have a stack over here. They also are on the website. I will make sure that they're in a couple of prominent places. So we will need, so for applicant number 1, Firebuds, there are 2 named stakeholders that will need to fill those out. For applicant number 2, Exhibit Cannabis, there's a missing release form for the third stakeholder. Applicant 7, 989 Ventures Northern Roots. Again, while we did get a full authorization, we do need 3 more of the release forms. Applicant number 8, Attitude Wellness, Loom, Cannabis. We need 3 release forms, and then the gentleman that signed the release form, we do not have the driver's license or personal information. That's Mr. Helyar. Applicant 13, Wyoming Ventures, we need 2 release forms. Applicant 15, BRT Capital Joyology, 1 release form. Applicant 18, Candid Labs, we need 1 release form. And applicant 21, Royal Highness, we need 1 release form. So if you guys would make note of that, 2 weeks to return those to us? Sufficient? 1 week?
I think 2 weeks is sufficient.
Okay, so deadline would be Wednesday, 2 weeks from now. What would that be?
Madam Chair, can I jump in here for a second?
Absolutely.
The background checks have been taking a significant amount of time from the police department, both resources and just getting all these applications. Now, we can't just ignore that category because it's in the ordinance, but could we as a group just say, they've already been approved by the state, the state's already verified them. If we gave everybody the 30 points, nobody's harmed, no foul here, they all get an equal amount and just move forward. It's probably more a rich question, but if the committee was willing to do it, could we?
That's an excellent question. I don't know. It is a requirement in the city ordinance, and this committee would be essentially waiving a requirement in the city ordinance. I think that could open up the committee to possible litigation from an aggrieved party, even though the 30 points is still being awarded to everybody. They could somehow say that the committee was required to follow the ordinance to a T, and it did not do so. Not to say that somebody would, but there's a possibility that could be an argument.
Okay, I was just trying to, we're wasting a lot of time is all.
Yeah, it has taken a long time to get, there's a lot of work that had to be done by the police department in order to get those background checks performed, and I know that they're very shorthanded right now as well.
Okay, well, we got enough litigation.
Okay, so we are going to require that those forms be either delivered to us
Here to City Hall.
here to City Hall. You're welcome to mail it, but I don't know, should we trust the mailing system these days? By Wednesday, August 31st at 2 p.m. will be the deadline. We will post a notice to that effect online that needs to be in so that we can get it over to the police department as soon as possible.
Madam Chair, does the committee also want our office to send out notice to each of the parties that you just recited, indicating in case somebody from one of those applicants is not here present in the council chambers?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay. So we do have an update in general, although we may still have some questions for individual applicants, but in looking at some of the plans, particularly when there's going to be demolition and a new build, or even some of the renovations, we were a little bit unclear of what is meant by a freestanding building. And I'm going to read what our ordinance says, and then we turn to our building official and our planner, who are the ones that obviously will make recommendations to the Planning Commission as they go through the special land use and site plan. So it does say the city shall limit the number of permits and zoning districts upon which medical marijuana facilities are hereby authorized under this article, and per the overlay district requirements of Article 18. This is Section 10-227, locations and permits authorized. Second sentence. In addition, any medical marijuana facility use shall be contained in a freestanding building. Enclosed malls, commercial strip stores, or common wall structures and multiple uses within the same structure do not constitute freestanding buildings. Gentlemen, if one of you would like to tell us what is accepted in the development world for, and I can give you that if you need it.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So, yes, in looking over the ordinance and just in general practice, and Dennis and I discussed this, both from a planning perspective, and a building perspective, there's a clear definition, but and in this case, there's sort of one caveat, right? So freestanding means literally, if it's a single building, if you took all the buildings around from side of it, would it still stand up? That means it's freestanding, right? So that's your first criteria. The one caveat here is you could have a freestanding building, but if it's part of a separate commercial setback, so think of separate development setback 30 feet, 50 feet from the right-of-way, built as a single commercial strip. Based on this ordinance, it would not be allowed, even if it were to be freestanding. So the criteria essentially is building, it could be adjacent to another building, but has to have, supporting walls, 4 supporting walls, and be essentially part of the natural development along the right-of-way. It can't be set back as part of a larger sort of commercial strip development. And obviously, that would also include being a sort of a leased-out type space, common wall, sort of condo-type ownership if you had a single roof. So that was my interpretation of it. I don't know if the building official wants to add to that.
That's pretty much what we came up with yesterday, and we were showing a couple different examples, and we pointed out a couple different examples as well, saying what is a freestanding and what is like a strip mall, and to give the example. So it's, I think it's pretty cut and dry.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on it as I review these things. So if you have 2 buildings next to each other, let me do it this way. So if there's 4 walls per building, there's 2 buildings next to each other, they're freestanding if there's a total of 8 walls, but if they share a middle wall, so there's really only 7 walls, then they're not freestanding.
Well, I don't
Would that
see
be a fair
how you would.
assessment?
No, I don't see how you would be sharing a middle wall.
If-
If you have a four walls here and 4 walls here, and they're butted next to each other, that they're not sharing a wall.
There's just 2 walls
they're
touching each
They're
other,
just touching each other.
and that would be freestanding?
Correct. Because if you take
Okay.
down one building, the other building and walls all still stay intact.
Okay. Because that was one of my questions on one of the applications.
And they have a different roof system. Their roof system is their own to each building on those 2, like down the road, those two buildings. Totally, they're 2 freestanding buildings, even though they're right together, and that's a very common practice.
Okay.
I have a question, actually.
I had a different interpretation.
Right. That's why we're not builders.
Yep.
Multiple uses within the same structure. There are 2 applications where it looks like they will only be using part of the building, part of the footprint of the building. So multiple use within the same structure means that nothing else could be in that building. Correct?
I mean, I haven't seen that specific application, Madam Chair, but based on what you're telling me and based on my review, that probably would not be in compliance with the ordinance. Because there you're saying you have a single building, even if it's owned, say, by, the dispensary, if they are allowing another use in that building, that would be out of compliance, because they're not using the entirety of the structure.
Okay.
Standalone, it's standalone, or a shared business.
Okay. All right. Any other clarifications? Okay, we are going to just basically go down the list. We have our Exhibit A down there, 1 through 22, less a few of the applicants that did not pass the completeness test, should we need any of that. But just start with 1. We'll see if each of the panelists have any questions. If needed, we can refer to the materials. And if we don't have a question, we'll move on to the next. We'll hopefully make this a very quick meeting. No. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Oh,
They should stay.
You want them to stay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I have two that I want you to look at just to make sure that I'm understanding it. All right.
So sorry. Okay, in order. Applicant number 1, Firebuds LLC. You have a question?
Well, I just got it yesterday, but I guess I would like a representative from them to verify that the application we have is the complete application.
That would be my same question.
Constable BC on behalf of Firebuds.
And I'm Mark Corey. I'm also attorney on behalf of Firebuds. Just want to mention as a preface, we just got the court's opinion last week, and the city's notice against by certified mail, we received it 2 days ago. We contacted the city attorney immediately. He contacted us back yesterday, Mr. Albright, and we explained that our client is currently in Lebanon, and we said he could bill by phone or by Zoom. And Mr. Albright said it wasn't, there was no facilities to accommodate that, but he said he would contact the board, and if there's any questions relating that the client could answer, we would be, he would defer to have this set over for a new date. I've got one question did raise, though. The circuit court in its ruling had indicated within 14 days we were supposed to submit the appeals hearing officer rules of procedure signed, notarized. We spoke to Mr. Albright yesterday. He said a copy of that would suffice, of the previously one we claimed had submitted, and I have a copy here for the board if they want to present it to them today. This is pursuant to Mr. Albright's indication that a copy of the November 22nd, 2021 appeals to the hearing officer rules of procedures signed by my clients and notarized at that time, Hassan Conifer on behalf of the Firebuds entity, notarized by Srina Sananita Notary Public, and it's been sealed and by the notary, and we're prepared to present it today for the board's attention.
If you could present to Mr. Albright, please.
Okay.
In public. So our only quick question is that this was the main application that we got. There's the site plan and the special land use applications are completely separate. Those are being held for Planning Commission. But we just wanted to make sure that this was everything that we were supposed to have gotten.
Yes.
Okay? All right, thank you.
And then also you spoke about some release forms earlier. Do you have copies?
They are on the corner over there. If you would, please take 2 of those. There were 2 stakeholders listed. Thank you. Are you, nothing further? Okay, applicant number 2, the exhibit Cannabis LLC, the exhibit. I don't have any questions. Applicant 3, CP Investment Group, Hayes Cannabis. Nope, neither do I. Applicant number 5, Holistic Health Wayne. Is there anybody?
Yes.
Thank you. So our question obviously goes with the freestanding building, because this is a demolition and rebuild, but we were unclear, although I guess it does not matter, but we were unclear as to whether the new building would be abutting the adjacent structure or if it was going to be standing alone. Again, either answer works for now, but it was a question.
Why does it not matter?
Based on the definition as the building official and the planner stated, that as long as you have your own walls, it is the 4 walls of your building, it's considered freestanding.
Okay. Well, just to be clear, they have separate walls. The walls are not connected. They are
Okay.
abutting, but very closely abutting, but completely separate walls. I would just note, I did send to Mr. Albright via certified mail way back in February. I'm not sure if that got circulated to the board. Both an opinion letter from our civil engineer as well as our architect, just noting that it is a freestanding building. Just based on the plans, I could understand why it was a little bit hard to understand that. As a lawyer, I It was confusing to me, so I made sure to have letters from them, and I'm happy to circulate that to the board, those 2 letters, as well as a letter written by myself. Is that something that you would like?
Absolutely. Could you also please, did you state your name?
I'm sorry. I'm Attorney David Rudoy. I'm here on behalf of Holistic Health Wayne for the record.
Thank you. Yes, we will take that, and then I believe there's a question.
Yes, sir, thank you. Just a quick question. I believe, if I think of the right application, your rendering seems to show a building that basically has sort of, landscaping on either side, but the plan indicates that there's still an existing building on an irregular shaped lot that's located to its east. I just want a clarification. The rendering is just kind of for kind of show purposes. Is the actual building is going to remain, though? That's to the east of so the building's on your site's on the north side of the block. There's a building to the east, right? There's a vacant lot, or I think or parking surface lot to the west. That building to the east is going to remain.
The building to the east of our building
Yes.
is going to remain.
Okay. It was just a question because from the rendering, it almost looked like that was going to be demolished. That was my only question. It had nothing to do with, as the chairwoman said, in terms of the legality of it. It was just a question in terms of your site plan.
Yeah, my belief is that building to the east will remain.
Okay.
I'm a little bit unclear of which building that you are talking about, so I just want to make sure I'm answering the question correctly. The intention was only to demolish and rebuild the building that is there. We're also doing a memorial park across the street. To my knowledge, that's all of the building. They're not going to be demolishing the building next door.
Okay, that's fine.
And I believe that that what's included in that letter that from the civil engineer will also make that more clear.
Okay, thank you.
And just as
It's actually north.
Oh, so is it, to the north? I'm sorry. My directions are.
that's why I was getting a little messed up
Apologies.
myself. So,
Obviously, I was looking at the plan.
but you're talking about the adjacent building, correct?
Correct, the adjacent
Yes.
building, yes. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
will
that
say
building will remain, but it's completely separate, 4 walls, separate roof system,
Okay.
all of that. And I just wanted to make sure there was no further need for any for the background check forms for my company. I was a little distracted for a second when you were naming them off. Very well. And just as far as that letter, I only brought 1 copy today of those 3 letters. Is that sufficient, or would you like me to send more copies?
No, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
That's fine, thank you.
And were there any other questions I can help you guys with?
Nope, all set. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Applicant number 6, Jars Ventures 1 LLC. Any questions on that one? I do not either. Applicant number 7, 989 Ventures LLC, Northern Roots Provisioning. Okay. It's going to go fast. Number 8, Attitude Wellness, Loom Cannabis. Okay. Applicant number 9, Shark Tail, Moses Roses. Nothing?
That's us. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Applicant number 10, MPM-RX LLC, Common Citizen. It's clear on that one.
We are here, and I have an update letter. Would you like us to present that now, or should we come back around at the end?
Rich?
Yeah, I'm happy to look at it.
Let Rich decide if we need it.
Yeah. Why don't you show that to him?
Would you like me to present it now?
So applicant number 11, RJB Enterprises Pleasantries Cannabis, right now is awaiting a ruling from the hearing officer. Did you guys, gentlemen, have any question at this time? Okay. Applicant number 13, Wyoming Ventures. Applicant number 14, Agronomod, East Point.
That was another one that I wanted the site plan reviewed, just to make sure it meets.
Is anybody from that applicant? Agronomod, East Point, for 21339 Gratiot. Okay.
Can we have the planners take a look at the site plan and give us a report back?
Absolutely. Which number is that? 14?
14.
So this is, the rendering itself, but again, it says conceptual, it's not, it's a real deal, but when the proposed, is what was just showing that other building would remain, is, and that is a freestanding building.
That's the one we were talking about. Can we have you look at the site plans then for 5?
Yeah, we looked at 2 of them yesterday. So I think this is the one that he was referring to earlier about the rendering for that other gentleman, but that other one, is the other.
One was a demo reconstruct that I had an issue with, and one was just a rehab. So,
This is the refurbished one.
okay, all right, so that is the one then, 14, okay. And you're saying that qualifies?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, whether it's a demo and rebuild or a rehab,
Right.
it's really material as long as it's a freestanding self-supporting structure.
okay. And I know my mind had gone to standalone versus freestanding.
Different.
Yeah, apparently.
Anything else on number 14? Number 15, BRT Capital 2, Joyology of East Point.
I have nothing.
Number 16, Great Lakes Facility. Anybody here for that? Oh, okay. Do you have any questions? I actually did have a question, if you will, sir.
Good afternoon.
My understanding from reviewing the application is that that is the large building down at 8 in Gratiot. My understanding from looking at the plan is that the provisioning center was taking up only a very small portion of the front corner of the building. According to our ordinance, that leaves the rest of the building sitting empty. Do you know, first of all, if you could state your name.
Sorry, Noah Harfouche. I'm an attorney representing Great Lakes Facilities. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you happen to know, are they aware of that?
To be honest with you, we got this notice to be here 2 days ago. I wasn't fully prepared for what the questions would be. I
Okay.
do know what you're talking about because I do recall in the site plans that it was approximately a 60,000 square foot building, and that the proposed location would be taking up a portion of it. The exact space in the building it would be taking up, I couldn't tell you. I know that it was not intended to take up the entire space as of yet, that this was going to be something that they started out with and maybe potentially expanded into the remainder of the space. So if that answers your question, hopefully.
Anything else, gentlemen? Thank you.
That's it? All right, thank you.
Number 18, Candid Labs. That's on 173218 Mile. I had the same question from reading. Yeah, they were maybe using half of the building, according to their plans. And again, for the discussion we had earlier, I guess the rest of the building would have to remain vacant, unoccupied, no other use. Okay. Applicant 19, Main Property Holdings, Wild Sky. Any questions? That was easy. Number 21, Royal Highness Herbology. I didn't have anything for that either. Last one is 22 Healing Strains LLC. Nothing else. All of your questions answered, for those that were here?
Yeah.
Got everything you needed?
I've got stuff so I can finalize. I mean, basically now we're just waiting on background.
Correct.
Finalize scoring.
Correct. Mr. Albright, anything else?
Madam Chair, nothing further from the city attorney's office, but does the committee perhaps want to let people either present today in the council chambers or watching live when the committee, basically a ballpark figure when the scoring process meeting will take place?
Absolutely. So what has happened is that each of us has our set under lock and key and has been reviewing separately. We will now finish our review, wait for the rest of the background checks to be completed. I do believe Mr. Blum did make a good point that the state is very rigorous, but ideally, maybe 3 weeks, ideally, so maybe we push it back. But the next step would be, just like we've done here, it probably will take more than one meeting. We will again do it on Wednesday afternoons. We will come here, again, bring out the set, and go through our individual comments and scores, applicant by applicant. I guess we'll keep a running total until we've finished all of them, and at that point, I believe we would have sort of a ranking sheet that would list the applicants in order. And then next step would be, well, the one question would be if any are within 1,000 feet of each other, any of the top applicants. So that might have to be resolved separately, and then on to Planning Commission. Anything else to add? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Sorry, can I
Oh,
interrupt?
yes.
So was this letter accepted by the
Oh,
committee, or should I
sorry.
approach?
It was acceptable.
Okay.
Thank you.
And nothing further.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Mr. Blum?
Aye.
Mr. Sage? And I say yes. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time and all of your efforts. Thank you, gentlemen. Rich, thank you.